probably the Apple Watches, and then every year I always get video games because what they do every year is see a lot of people, they always ask like, oh, how do you do Black Friday or what do you do? Well, if you look every Black Friday, it's like everybody releases the same titles every Black Friday. Like for the past 5 years, a new Call of Duty has coincidentally almost landed on every Black Friday, and they're $60, and you can usually buy them on Black Friday for 35 to 38 bucks. So
Right.
you can easily flip them on Marketplace or even on eBay usually for 55 bucks. So it's 20 bucks profit each game. If you sell it on eBay, you're probably looking at like 10 to 12 bucks. But it's
Right. But
like,
still,
well,
yeah.
right. If I can hit every single store in my area and buy them out, which I usually do, and then I buy 500 bubble mailers online from eBay, so I'm into like 20 cents a package at that, if that I should say. It's like easy $10 profit, and it's brand new items, so you ever usually get returns. I mean, I never really get any returns or any scams because it's brand new. And the nice
Hmm.
thing about video games is you're not dealing with people that are buying them to like resell them. Like when you sell a blacklisted phone on eBay, you're buying it or you're selling it usually to a reseller. Somebody needs the parts, which leaves you to somebody who could maybe scam you. But when you're
Right.
selling a video game, 9 times out of 10, unless somebody's got like a little small mom and pop shop, you're selling to a consumer. So when they get their brand new game and it's perfect, why would they return it? They're going to be happy, unwrap it, and go play it, and it's done deal.
Exactly. Yeah, for
So
sure. It's literally just a consumer buying it, looking for entertainment. They're looking for just a good deal, like most people on Black Friday.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what we did Black Friday. We just ran it up. I mean, I had two friends with me and then my girlfriend. So, a lot of people are like, how do you get so many of one product? Some of it's luck of the draw. I mean, there is a strategy to it. It's kind of
Mhm.
complicated, but best thing is get a truck, get a van, get an SUV, something where you can fit as many friends as possible because what I try and do is, just basically tell everybody, hey, $5 for gas, or if I have a good day, it's free. But we can go Black Friday shopping everywhere I drive. But the catch is when I see something and I'm like, hey, I need five of those. I want you to get five, you to get five, you to get five, you to get five. They're all there to help me out, get me tickets for everything. But then they kind of get a free ride and get free transportation for whatever they buy. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Did you do any cooking on Thanksgiving?
I did not personally cook. No, I went to my family's house and they had a nice meal. They had ham, turkey, whatever, all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm more of
Yeah.
a ham guy to be honest. I'm not really a big
Oh, for
fan of
sure.
turkey.
Too
No,
dry, isn't it? Too dry.
it is. It is. It's always dry. So
My man. We're on the same page.
yep. So I don't know. Everyone's all turkey crazy, and I'm just like, you know what? Ham, pineapple, that's good. Homemade bread, that's
Oh,
fine.
for sure.
So
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
depends who makes the pizza. Store bought
See,
pizza, no, but like a good homemade pizza from a restaurant, pineapple's fine. I think it goes in good, but it's got to be like Canadian bacon and pineapple.
okay. That's fair. That's
But
fair.
yeah, so but anyways, yeah, Black Friday, yeah, it was pretty great. But we'll probably jump into what we got going on for group chat today. I want to talk to you guys about a few different things that are kind of important in the phone flipping industry. So there has been a leaked video that I want to talk about. Nothing to do with me or really necessarily our group, but it affects phone flipping as a whole. And that video is supposedly the next iPhone 12, and I'm not really sure exactly how I feel about it. I don't know if the video is actually legitimate, but supposedly, and the person who's got it is very wealthy. The video had a Lamborghini Aventador in it, and I can't even find the video. A friend of mine sent it to me, and then they actually deleted the message after they sent it to me, and they're like, guess what? And I viewed it, and then they deleted it, and I'm like, seriously? I'm like, you're not gonna let me show people? But the iPhone 12 that I saw in this video had a chrome Aventador Lamborghini behind it. So it was somebody very wealthy. I don't know if they have a connection with Apple or what, or they've got a prototype on their hands. But the iPhone 12 is making, in my opinion, a turn for the worst if this video is real. But what I saw is an iPhone 12 that's got four cameras, which, whatever, we've got a bunch of cameras now, and that didn't ruin the iPhone. I've got it sitting right here. It's kind of ugly, but it's right here. But what they did is the iPhone 12 has a slider on it. And I think that that's going to hurt the sales of the iPhone. And I think that if they are going to do that, it's going to just become a rebranded Samsung, and I think that it could severely affect the price. Another thing on the iPhone 12, and I might have these two mixed up, but I had read that the new displays for the 2020 iPhones are actually going to be made by LG and Samsung. So actually, the iPhones are going to be working with Samsung. And as we all know, Samsungs, for whatever reason, are like half the price of iPhones. If you go and buy a brand new Note 10 unlocked for 990 bucks, I think is what they run for like the base model. You try and sell that to a direct buyer eBay, you're going to get like 500 bucks. But you can go buy an unlocked iPhone for 1150 and you could probably sell it to somebody unlocked sealed for 1100 bucks overseas. Brand new unlocked. So I really hope that Apple steps their game up and doesn't necessarily outsource their screen manufacturing to Samsung and LG. Not that Samsung and LG are bad companies, but because of the fact that if they do that, I have a feeling that people may reproduce the Apple parts, or perhaps Apple parts will be available to everyone. Now, the reason why Apple iPhones are so valuable is because iPhones don't allow anybody or just anybody to buy their repair parts. They're extremely valuable, whether they're blacklisted, bad ESN, not paid for, and when they are paid for, they're just more valuable because of the fact that, in a sense, the Samsung phones are almost like the US dollar. When we go into debt, we just print more money, and so basically our currency is becoming devalued, where Samsungs, everybody can get Samsung parts, but not just anybody can get iPhone parts. I mean, you've got to go through a bunch of tests through Apple. You got to be all certified. You typically got to have a physical store location. And that basically makes iPhones valuable. You know, not everybody wants a Prius. Everyone wants a Lamborghini. Okay. And if you don't like Lamborghini, you want something else. But everybody wants something that they can't have or they can't get. It basically creates an expensive brand culture when somebody can't get something that is a good product or they can't replace something. And that's what iPhone has done by keeping their parts to themselves. Although it does wreak havoc on the repair industry, iPhone has done this. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Wanted to see what everybody thinks. For anybody on here in the group chat tonight, if you guys could type in the chat, what do you guys think about this? What do you think about iPhone basically subcontracting Samsung and LG to manufacture their screens? Now, I think the screen would look great on the iPhone. I think Samsung does a really awesome job. Their screens are a little bit brighter, I think, than iPhone. I see them all the time in the stores. I always compare them. The Note 10 is an awesome phone, but I just don't want that to affect the brand that iPhone has built, and we end up getting iPhones that just aren't worth as much anymore on the resale side of things. And this could be kind of a industry shock, I guess. You know, if new iPhone 12 comes out and the prices are similar to Samsung's, all of our sellers are going to be really confused on why they are getting so much less for the phones. Obviously, we can explain that. We'll figure it out. It's not a big deal, but it could cause some culture shock, could cause some market shock. I know right now, actually, one of my biggest suppliers is actually stockpiling all of his phones. He's not sold me any phones for like 3 months, and he claims that he thinks the market's going to go back up because of prices being down recently. And he's just basically been holding on to the phones, hoping that the prices go back up, and he's going to sell them all to me when it goes back up. I hope they do for his sake. If not, at the end of the year, he's probably going to be selling to me pretty cheap. So, Jaland and Ahmad, what do you guys think? You guys type in the chat if you're here. What do you guys think of Apple subleasing or subcontracting their screen work out to Samsung and LG, which, I mean, Samsung is a direct competitor also, which if you guys took a look at the Galaxy Tab S6, I think it's the Galaxy Tab S6. I'm going to show you guys something if you guys haven't noticed. I can't believe that Apple didn't try and go after Samsung for like copywriting or something, but apparently they didn't do a very good job. But if you look at the Samsung Galaxy S6, it literally looks, I mean, it looks like an iPad. And I mean, they took the camera from the iPhone X. It's crazy. I'm just going to blow this up on the screen here right now for you guys and just kind of want to show you what I'm talking about. But there's some interesting stuff going on. And I don't want to say this, I don't want to jinx anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the future somehow Samsung and Apple started working together. But this is the Samsung Galaxy S6. I mean, look at this thing. if you guys didn't have Samsung on the back there, would we not all agree that this literally looks like an iPad? I mean, this is an iPad. That's what it looks like, guys. I mean, it's crazy. This is an iPad. This is definitely an iPad. So, absolutely crazy. We could see some good things. I mean, maybe the partnership will make things better. Maybe Samsung parts will not be as available as iPhones, or maybe the partnership will make Samsung repair costs go down in price, which would be absolutely amazing. Not sure if that's going to happen, but it's something to consider. So just kind of wanted to throw this out there for everybody. You never know exactly what's going to happen, but just kind of wanted to throw this out there and see what everybody thinks. Jalon says, I think maybe they are thinking we're stronger together than separate. Maybe. That's a really good point. You know, a lot of good investors, a lot of good business people agree that two minds are better than one. Me personally, I'm all for partnerships. If I could find somebody in this industry that was a equal partner or somebody that brought something unique to the table, whether we were on the same level or not, but we both had strengths and weaknesses, I would absolutely love to partner with somebody on the eBay side of things, direct buying side of things, and then on the consulting side of things, actually teaching other people how to do this. I would love to do that. You know, you have to think to yourself, if you have two companies that are both really successful and they combine, well, they're just going to have one big successful company. It's going to be bigger, better, faster, more marketing, more employees, more sales. So maybe. I just hope that it doesn't drive down the price. Jalon says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go farther, go together. African proverb. Yeah, that's exactly it. That is an awesome message. If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. African proverb. Ancient African proverb, Jalon says. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. That's a really good quote. That's tonight's group chat quote. Is if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that is awesome. That's a great quote. That being said, Jalon, do you have any kind of questions for tonight, or how are your sales? I guess I'm gonna unmute you because I know you got a microphone. So let's talk about sales techniques, strategies. I know you've been in the game for a little while. Maybe you want to give everybody a little introductory on who you are, how long you've been doing it, what you do for your day job. So.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, you should be unmuted.
Oh man. So my sales, they're average for right now. The thing is that I officially don't sell cars anymore. So I can get back to doing this full time. That's why I am on the group chat tonight. So looking
Congrats.
to just go full head, full steam, man. I know I haven't last time I flipped the phone was back in September. I flipped the XS Max and got burned on it super bad.
Oh,
It
what
ended
happened?
up,
Let's hear about it. We got to hear about it
oh
now.
man. So I was following the steps to the sale and everything. He actually filled out a bill of sale. It was an iPhone XS. He said it was an iPhone XS Max, unlocked, everything, 512 gigabytes. I was like, yeah, man, for sure. Let's just meet up at Starbucks. We meet at Starbucks. I inspect the phone. Phone looked identical to an iPhone, right?
Wow.
What happened was totally my fault, totally my mistake. I take full ownership of that. When he signed the bill of sale and everything, he left, and then the maps popped up, and come to find out, it wasn't like Apple's maps, it was like Google Maps. And I said, oh man. And I said, oh man, something's wrong with this phone, man. Something's wrong with this phone. And come to find out, it was like a dummy phone. It was nothing that I could do with it, man. It was completely shot.
Oh. So it was literally a clone. It wasn't even like a live demo.
Clone,
It was
yeah,
a clone.
it was a clone. And I talked to some other resellers and people who had like some mom and pop shops that deal with phones, and I asked them if they would buy it or anything like that. They said, no, there's nothing they could do with it. And I was going to try to sell it on eBay. Surveys or nothing like that. So I just
Yeah, it's too bad, man. I'm sorry to hear that. How much did you end up paying for it? Huh. Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah. Hey, I don't know what happened. I don't know if you dropped your mic, but you kind of got staticky for a bit.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, now you're good.
Yeah. Ended up paying like $450 for it, man. So
gosh.
I mean, but it's okay. It comes with the territory. You know, you have some wins and you have some L's,
What you
and that's
got
just
going on there, Nelson? Oh man. I'm sorry.
Hey man, listen, bro, it's my birthday, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's my birthday, brother. Today, I actually turned 21 today, man. It's
Well,
crazy. I'm really,
congratulations.
21, brother. So we're just chilling here, guys.
Let's
I'm
see.
mad. I missed the last couple of freaking meetings, but I'm glad I made it to this one, dude.
Well, welcome. Thanks for joining us
Bro, I
on your
missed you
birthday.
guys, of course, man. You guys always
Happy
good.
birthday.
happy
Thank you,
birthday,
brother.
man.
Thank you, man.
Happy birthday.
But yeah, Jalon, yeah, I mean, hey, that's the way to look at it. It's $450. It is what it is. It's, it's not going to make you, it's not going to break you, but it's a good lesson. You probably never do that again, or you'd be a little more cautious. But
No,
man, sometimes the most convincing ones are the worst ones,
Absolutely, man. No, so I've just been doing it like off and on for the past 6 months because car sales is more demanding and takes a lot of time out of you.
It does.
So now that I have more time, I'm looking to get back into it and doing it full time. So
for sure. Are you happy that you got out of car sales? Because I did that for a little while, and I'll tell you, I left. I can't remember it was yesterday. I left a car sales job. I was selling like decent. I think I was only there 3 months, and the biggest problem that I found about the car sales business is, I could talk to people, I could sell them on stuff. I think my best month was like 7 cars. I was only there a few months. But the problem is all the guys that have been there 15 to 20 years, like everybody that came to the lot, they already had them in their customer base. So I had to hand them off to them. That's how our system worked. And I remember keeping there, and those people, this was must have been 2014 or 13. I picked it up for a little bit during the winter because things were a little slow down here. This is it's like 5-6 years ago now. But I just remember them they fired me or whatever because me and an employee had to share a desk. And I wasn't having it because this guy was not a salesman. He just kind of had some negativity coming off him. I didn't like it. So I said some stuff and it wasn't so good. And they got mad about it and got let go. And I just remember them telling me I always used to show up in because it's Wisconsin. I mean, a lot of people wear boots, but I'd always show up. I was the only salesman around here that showed up in boots, and I had a nice dress shirt and a tie and dress pants and all that. But we are in the city. Most of the car dealerships around here, all the salesmen wear boots just because, hey, we got dirt, mud, snow, all that kind of stuff. And
Wisconsin.
The joke they'd always tell me was they'd call me factory worker. And when I left that job, that's when I started going even more full-time on eBay. I made over 6 figures that year, and then I started teaching people, made 6 figures of that, and then I got 2 rental properties that year and just kept on going up from there. But it's just sometimes when you leave somewhere, even if you thought it was good, you never really know what's great till it hits you right in the face. And it's like when I left there, the funny thing is I drive through the car lot, and I've got friends that I went to school with that work there. And they always say, they're like, yeah, they didn't say anything good about you at the dealership when we mentioned your name, but we told them that you're kind of rich now. And they're like, oh yeah. And, they talk or whatever. And they're like, it's kind of funny because the last time I went there, I bought a car from them and I paid for it in cash. And they're just like, you could just see the look on the old manager's face. They're like, oh, I wonder what he went and did. And it's just kind of comical. So
yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
No, man, I I feel the same way. Believe it or not, the average car salesman tends to stay for around 5 to 7 years. It's just grueling, It just takes a lot of time out of you, and you do a lot of back and forth with the customers and everything, and you're kind of the middleman between the customer and the manager. I'm sure you know how it is. Right. I did it for almost 2 years, but it was cool. It was a learning experience. I did it, paid off most of my debt and everything. So it just was time to just do something else,
Sure. No, that's good, man. I'm glad. So I guess, piece of advice here on the group chat. It's always great for people to hear other people's perspectives. So obviously you're in phone flipping, you've done car sales. What's one thing that you learned from car sales that you could take away and apply it to phone flipping or just sales in general?
The one thing that I would say that I've learned between the two industries, man, is honestly that there's a few things. There's a few things. One is you can use the opportunity to coach someone to help them with their finances, because most times when people are selling their phones, right, they what's wrong, man? Just 1 second, man. Sorry about that.
No problem. No problem.
People need the cash, right? We're in the business where people are hitting you up because they need cash. They just literally spent 6 months ago everything they had on this new phone to be hip, to be cool, or they financed it, and now they're in a bad spot. Same thing for some car dealerships. You know, a lot of car dealerships do subprime deals where people can't afford it or stuff like that. So one thing I've noticed from selling phones and cars is that you have the opportunity to just coach them on finances. You know, there's been times where I would meet people at McDonald's and I'm like, hey man, like, I know that I'm giving you your like rent, you know, and your life doesn't have to be this way. And then they said, well, then what do you do? And like, what's your advice? So I give them some real practical advice, and then they end up hitting me back up like year after year after year, building rapport. Like I literally just had a guy message me yesterday. No, I'm sorry, Saturday. I was like, hey man, my coworker wants he's looking to sell his phone. I gave him your info and everything, and I said, sweet dude, if the deal falls through, what's your cash app? I'll send you some cash. So so being honest, transparent, and also just being genuinely helpful helps you build a super sweet repeat and referral business. That's one thing that I would say for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I actually really appreciate you bringing that up. I got a story if anybody wants to hear it here in the group chat, but I think it's a really important story. And what it is just sales psychology and just how to work things. But basically, me and my family, and thanks, by the way, Jalan, for sharing that. I super appreciate it and the feedback. But I just had to touch a little bit on my car salesman experience. And funny thing is, too, I flipped so many cars on Craigslist, and I've made $500, $1,000, $2,000. And you're working for a car dealership, and you're making like $200 a car. And it's like, yeah, it's crazy. And then, of course, it's all your fault, too. You know how that goes. And the manager says, oh, you didn't close them. So what I like about the phone flipping industry is those customers that came to the car dealership that had no money, those are like our best customers in the phone flipping industry.
Exactly.
Because they're broke. So, but anyways, speaking of that, treating your customers with kindness, everybody. So what I wanted to touch on is a few weeks ago, and we're going to talk sales psychology here. A few weeks ago, me and my family were up in Minnesota, and I took a few close family members, my girlfriend, of course, she's with me all the time, and we go up there. We had a nice evening out. I went up there originally to look at some furniture at IKEA. It was kind of a cool, fun night, and one of my regulars from the cities messaged me and said that they had a few phones for sale. And this individual never done me any harm, never done me any wrong, and I always say in this industry, never ever judge a book by its cover. Never ever do that. And you got to treat everybody with respect, even if you know they're broke, even if you know they come from the ghetto or hard times or whatever. Don't look down on people because they're all right there trying to give you money, basically. Every time somebody gives you a phone, they're making you money. And the guy shows up or whatever, basically, and, my family's sitting there and everything. And, of course, nobody's going to say anything to anybody in person. But as he walks away or whatever, my whole family is just like, I don't like people like that. They're from the ghetto or this and that, or, they're probably doing this and that. And I don't like people like that. I don't like broke people, poor people, whatever. And, in this industry, some of those people are, some of my best customers. And he was black too, which, sometimes people follow that stigma. But it really doesn't matter what color, how poor, how rich the customer is. The customers, if they're good to you, you should treat them good. Now, if you got somebody that wastes your time and, you want to tell them, hey, I don't want to do business with you anymore, fair enough. But always give somebody a chance. Doesn't matter, what their means of transportation is or how wealthy they are. But when he came in, this customer, I've met him a few times, but this time he had his girlfriend with him. And we were sitting down at Giordano's. I think that's what you call it, Giordano's Pizza or Giordano's or something. It's a big pizza chain that they got in Chicago, Minnesota. Really good pizza, Chicago-style pizza. And we're all sitting down there, and he walks in, and we had just gotten our pizzas and everything. And he walks in, and, this guy's just like, he's like skinny. He's like skin and bones. He looks like Tyga, but without all the $1 million, that he makes off of his rap videos. I mean, he's skinny. You know, he's really skinny, and his girlfriend walks in, and she's equally as skinny. And I'm just like, you know, we had just gotten our pizza, but, you know, there was like, I don't know, it was like 6 people with me. So pizza was pretty much gone, but there's like 4 pieces left. And, you know, we had ordered to-go boxes actually, coincidentally, right before they got there. But there's 4 pieces of pizza there. And I gave him a slice, gave his girlfriend a slice. And then when they were going to walk out or whatever, I saw them kind of calling, looked like they were getting a ride. He always gets a ride to wherever I'm at. He doesn't drive for whatever reason. Never asked him. But it's just like I gave them the 2 pieces of pizza, and they just like wolfed it down. So as they're calling for a ride or whatever, he's about to walk out with his girlfriend. He's like, hey, thanks, Luke. You know, we'll do business again, whatever. You know, anything and everything I get, he always comes to me. He's really loyal to me. And, you know, those other pieces of pizza are sitting there, and we had just boxed them up. And I'm like, here, man. So I give him the pizza box. And, like, the look in his eyes, you know, even though, you know, what, the pizza cost me whatever it cost, but those pieces of pizza, based on what I paid, they're like $2 a pop. The look in his eyes, even though, you know, it might have been just like a $10 gesture, the look in his eyes because of the gesture. Not so much the cost behind it, but just the gesture, the respect, the, hey, it looks like, you know, you probably haven't had anything really good in a long time. He will probably bring me stuff for the rest of his life. And every time before this, you know, I've always treated him good. I've always tried to help him out. If I could get as close to him as possible, I would. You know, sometimes he's an hour and a half away, so he comes to me. But this guy, he's just been loyal. You know, he might be poor, but it's like sometimes those people in this industry, not necessarily that they want to be poor. It's just that's what happens. You know, some people get raised in the ghetto and they don't know how to get out, or some people get involved in the street life and they don't know how to get out. And it's just like, you have to not judge people in this industry. You have to be a chameleon. So obviously my family, they're smart enough not to say that to his face or anything, but when he walked away, he's just like, oh, I don't like people like that, blah, 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 blah. People like that do bad things. And I'm just like, well, they're loyal to me. They treat me good. They bring me stuff. They're honest about stuff. If I ask questions, they tell me. And they've never done me wrong. So never, ever judge a book by its cover. And in this industry, talking about sales psychology, you have to be a chameleon, okay? Now, if you're dealing with a guy who walks up to you with the suit and tie and he seems to be really smart and he knows exactly what he's talking about, pitch it to him like I do. Tell him you know your stuff, you know? But you got to basically treat everybody as they are. Don't treat people differently just because of the fact that, oh, one's poor, one's rich. You got to kind of blend in with who they are. You don't want to just, you know, talk to them like they're just somebody who is poor, somebody who gets a ride to you just to sell their phone, trying to help them out. Like there was another time where I had a client that wanted me to come to them and they were broke, didn't have their license or something. There was some kind of situation and they're like, man, I'll take $150 for the phone, but I really, really, really need a pack of cigarettes. So I was like, okay, what kind? Didn't even hesitate. Didn't freak out and be like, no, I'm not getting you cigarettes. I'm not doing that. The guy showed me his ID. I've done business with him, and I've done business with him ever since this event. But when he showed me his ID, I looked at it. He's over 18. You know, didn't want to obviously give cigarettes to somebody who wasn't over 18. But everything checked out. I gave him $150, gave him a $7 pack of cigarettes. He was so happy. He was so happy that I just went that little extra mile. And it didn't really cost me anything. It cost me like $5 to $7, big deal. But you guys really have to realize that when you deal with these people, if you go the extra mile or just kind of cater to them, these people will be so grateful just because of the fact that they don't really have much. And just a little generosity will go miles with them. What's up, Nelson?
Hey, I also wanted to add in what you were saying. What you were saying is 100% correct. I wanted to add in something else also because there may be a lot of people that are just starting to do, you know, business out. I don't want to say in the streets, but, you know, just out in the city. And the same way how there's a lot of people that are like, you know, they really just want to sell their phone and they really want to be helped out. There's also people out there who, if you give them too much, you know, trust, they will try to take advantage of you. I have a quick little story just to tell you guys, just anybody that's listening, because, you know, I probably was stupid and that's why I got caught up into that situation. But, you know, dude, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like when I used to be, when I first started the flipping thing and whatever, I used to be really, really, really very naive. And I used to be very like, you know, I used to just try to help everybody out with like what you're saying. Oh, let me get a pack of cigarettes, whatever. You know, But I had this one scenario where I had this one guy, dude was selling me phones consistently. So I built some kind of a little trust with him. And then this one day, the dude is like, hey, I got 3 XRs. I won 900 for them. This is when the XRs were worth a lot more. I was going to make like 100 a pop. I said, all right, cool. 300, I'll go do it real quick. I made the mistake to actually go to where he wanted me to actually come to. It was somebody I did business before with. I'm stupid for doing it now that I look back at it. But at that time, I didn't have the experience to know that you can't trust everybody, man. So I go over there. Dude gets in the car. Oh, he's telling me, he said, I have 3 iPhone XRs and I have an iPad. He comes in the car, right? Dude has a book bag, opens his book bag, takes out this shitty iPad. It was like a very shitty iPad. I was really there for the XRs because they were sealed. So I'm like, all right, man, forget about the iPad. Let me see the XRs. Keep in mind, I'm already feeling something weird, right? Like as I'm on my way over there, because I'm like, yo, come to the Dunkin' Donuts. He's like, nah, bro, come on, just come by. I'm right in front of my house. You know what I mean? Like the dude, I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? Like I didn't feel comfortable with the scenario, but I was just so money hungry or just so like, I don't care. I'm still going to go at that point. It was very stupid of me. I still went, even though I had a feeling that, I literally had a bad feeling about the whole situation. I didn't listen to my gut. I cared more about the money than my gut. So that's something for the people that are listening. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Listen to your gut. So I went over there. Don't ever go to nobody's neighborhood. Don't ever go to nobody's house. Don't ever do anything like that. Don't ever be stupid enough. No matter how many transactions you did with that person, never do that. I go over there. Dude gets in the car. Book bag, cool. Takes out the iPad. I'm already like, dude, this iPad is shitty. I ain't come here for that. Where's the phones? You know what I mean? That's when he stops for a minute and he looks at me. He gives me this look like he's about to do something bad. You know what I mean? Really bad. And then I'm like, my instincts kicked in because I already had that feeling. I was on the phone with my girlfriend at the time and I told her, hey, look, I'm on my way to do this business transaction, but I feel like the guy's going to try to do something bad. I'm still going to go. Dude, literally, the dude looks at me after he takes the iPad. He looks into my eyes, dude. His eyes are like watery, bro. No lie. Like he's like about to cry or something. Like he's about to try to murder me or something. So at that point, I'm like, why is he taking so long? He has his hand in the book bag. Why does he just take? I already know what's going on. I'm like, fuck, something bad gonna happen. Exactly. Dude, I put my hand down to the book bag. I feel a Glock 45, extended magazine on it. And then I look at him and I'm like, man, are you really about to do this? Dude, let me tell you right now, worst experience of my life. I could have easily avoided it, but I didn't. You know what I mean? Because I was thinking about the money. You know what I mean? I had to fight the dude for probably about 10, 15 minutes, dude. It was the worst experience ever. I had to put my car on drive. Meanwhile, I was fighting the motherfucker because I was pulling his gun and he was trying to pull the gun away from me. You know what I mean? Because he was trying to get me. So I'm like, just trying to aim the gun away from my body and just keep driving the car. I ended up driving to a public place. Thanks God, there were a lot of people came out. They saw us fighting over the gun because, dude, the guy kept going up until the last moment, like trying to take $900, bro, up until the last moment. We were in front of probably over 15 people because I drove up into a laundromat, and then we jumped out the car. The car kept driving. Thankfully, my car parks itself when you jump out of it. So it parked itself by a gate, but we were on the floor fighting for the gun.
Wow.
And, dude, thanks God. You know what I mean? Like something happened and cops came and then when the cops came, he let go of the gun. I threw the gun to the cops and after that, when they took us, they detained us. I'm telling the cops, hey, yeah, man, I got a business, man. This is what's going on. This is what, dude. I was at the hospital. I had to talk to detectives. It was a bad. But at the end of the day, his stuff didn't add up. Mine's did. I didn't go to jail at all, man. But the reason why I'm telling people this is because there's a lot of people that start this phone flipping thing or any type of flips where you're out in the city and you might be very naive and keep it professional and always make sure you go to a public place, man. You know what I mean? Always.
Where are you from again?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
I'm in Philly. That's why. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's a good market, but like I said, that's all. I want to just tell that story. And
no, I appreciate that. No, you're definitely right. I've had people. I'm gonna tell a story too, because we're talking sales psychology. We're talking about getting to know people, get all that good stuff. So I'm gonna break it down for you guys really quick, because we're coming up on 30 minutes here. So long story short, I've got this client. I've done 3 deals with him, and I'm way ahead as far as numbers. I've made money every time we start doing deals, so it wasn't a big deal. He literally screwed himself more than he screwed me. But this person, I actually went all the way down to Milwaukee when their car broke down. And I had my truck, my trailer, and I still got that video somewhere. I got to get it uploaded to YouTube. It's on one of my old phones. When I go through them, I got so many pictures and videos from doing the YouTube stuff. It takes me forever to get through them. But I went down to Milwaukee. I picked this guy's car up, okay, in exchange for him giving me a MacBook and an iPad for like 50% off what he'd normally sell it to me for. So I went down to Milwaukee, 4 hours there, 4 hours back. I made like $1,500. Yeah, it was kind of crazy, but I wanted to help this guy out. So I did that, did a couple more business transactions with them. And then one day he calls me and he says that he's stranded. I don't know, his car, something happened with it or something. The tires went flat. He's got a Mercedes-Benz, and I actually hauled his Mercedes-Benz back from Milwaukee. So he's got a decent car and everything. And done plenty of deals with this guy. I gave him it was like a green card or a prepaid Visa or whatever they're called. It was a prepaid Visa. That's what it was. And it was called a green money card from Walgreens, I think, or like one of the 24/7 pharmacies. I gave him $150, okay? And I've made thousands off this guy. And he's obviously made money off of me too. Obviously, whatever he's selling stuff to me for, he makes a profit. So $150, I paid to the guy. He's supposed to give me, a little bit better deal on the next thing when he meets up with me or give me some money off. Never heard from him. Don't know what happened to him. Not sure if he went to jail or something, or, maybe that's the reason why he never contacted me, or he lost his phone, but never heard from him. So it's just like, you're right. You can't trust everybody all the time. But what I've learned is these 3 things. If you do these 3 things, you guys will never get screwed. 1, never pay for anything up front. Never pay for somebody to go and try and get phones or anything like that, because you shouldn't be doing that. Do not do either of those things, okay? That's like, they're kind of both the same thing. So that's 1, is don't ever pay for anything up front, ever, ever. Like in any circumstance, whether it's with a credit card or to front money for them to get something, don't ever do that. Number 2, don't ever trust them too much. Don't meet them at their house. Don't meet them at your house, okay? Unfortunately, I'm on YouTube, so my address is all over. I don't live in a big city, but obviously, you guys have seen on Facebook, I have a lot of products sitting here sometimes, okay? I have cash sitting here at sometimes, which is very well protected and all that. I have cameras all over my house, so I think I'm probably good, but I still don't want to bring customers to my house if I can avoid it. Like, I don't want them coming to my house, especially people that, maybe have the tendency to snap one day. Maybe one day their finances get so bad that they're like, you know what? What happened with Nelson, in my opinion, is like this. Dude broke down. He's like, man, I really don't want to rob this guy today. My life is so hard. I've got no money. I don't know what else to do. I don't want to rob a bank because that's going to get me life. And that's why when he looked at Nelson, he had tears in his eyes because he didn't want to do it. He didn't necessarily want to do it. But he's like, I don't know what else to do. I got rent coming up. Maybe he's got a kid at home. You never want to put yourself in a situation where you could be victimized by somebody that you can't fully trust because of the fact that desperate times call for desperate measures. You don't want to be the person that those desperate measures are used on, okay? And the third thing, everybody, okay, the third thing is don't be friends with somebody, okay? Don't be friends. Don't think just because you've done 50 deals with them that you can be like, yeah, you can just stop by my house. Kind of goes hand in hand with number 2. But don't be friends. Some people out there, okay, what they'll do is they'll actually try and do 5 to 10 deals with you. And then what they'll do is on the 10th deal, that's when they'll screw you. When you've sold like 15 phones to them and you're comfortable bringing like 5 to 8 grand with you, well, when they hit you up and they're like, hey, man, I got 30 phones, and then you bring 30 grand with you, that's when you get robbed. Another thing, by the way, is a 4th thing. If you're doing a big deal, 20 to 30 phones, always bring somebody with you. And if you can't legally carry a gun, then have them carry a gun with you, okay? Or something to protect yourself. There's been many deals that I've done where it's like, nothing went wrong, but what if it would have? What if it would have? So I've always had a friend, protection with me, something like that. Another common scam that they do in the cities, I just want to bring this up to you guys since we're talking about sales psychology and just kind of protecting ourselves in this group chat. Basically, here's the scam. You walk into the mall, you meet your regular seller or your regular buyer, I should say, depending on who you are. It can go both ways, actually. But let's just say in this case, we are the buyer, they are the seller. So here's what happens. You walk into the mall, everything's good. You're meeting in a public place, everything looks good, right? You buy 30 phones, okay? And let's just say you give them 20 grand. You buy 30 phones, you give them 20 grand. You walk out with 30 phones. Let's just say, I don't know, maybe you brought a tote with you or something like that. And here's the scam part of it. They've got somebody outside watching for your vehicle because they've done like 15 deals with you, so they know exactly what you drive, okay? They got somebody outside watching where you parked, and they're just sitting there watching you. When they watch you walk out with the cash, they watch you walk, or not watch out with the cash, they watch you walk out with the phones. They've got the cash, they're 20 grand, and you've got 30 phones, okay? So it's a two-person scam. They are the ones in there meeting with you, okay? And then what they do is they have somebody or, you know, a couple friends watch you in a car. They all end up following you out of the mall, even though you don't know it. And then when you turn down a road or, you know, you come to a stoplight, boom, you get robbed. You get robbed at gunpoint, and they will take all of the phones that they just sold you and get away with your money. And there's not going to really be a whole lot that you can do about it because the guy that you sold the phones to isn't going to be there when they rob you. It's going to be somebody else, and they're all going to split the money from that or go do it to somebody else. So that doesn't happen very often, but I've had a few people who are direct buyers that have seen it happen to people in California, Texas, bigger cities. So be careful because it can happen. So those 4 things, if you avoid those 4 things, basically you probably won't have any problems in this industry. That's something that I've avoided for the dawn of time. Now, a fifth thing is these rules are all golden, but you also have to have the judgment skills to know when to use these, okay? If somebody that you get a vibe from is very trustful, be careful. But if somebody that was like 45 years old and when I met them, they had their daughter with and a wife, I mean, somebody that looks like a family man, maybe you could go meet them at their house. Not a huge deal. Another thing is here in Wisconsin, you can run a background check on anybody for free. So if you look the person up, maybe in your state, if you've got something similar to this, do your research. When you sign a bill of sale with somebody, type their name in Google, find stuff, you know, see if they're okay. You know, if this person's constantly saying, hey, come to my house, well, maybe do a little research before you meet them at their house. See who you're dealing with. So it's kind of something to keep in mind, guys. You know, I want everybody to be safe out there. I've heard a few stories of people getting robbed and bad stuff happening. Doesn't happen all that often, but it can happen to anybody.
Hey, just to make you guys feel better, he didn't take the money from you. The dude just did a stupid ass move, and he's in jail now, and I gotta go to court for it. And he didn't take $1 from me. He's a freaking idiot, bro. But it's just, I'm talking about this because a lot of people, they might be so excited about making money, and they might forget that you're still gonna make money. You know what I mean? Just be smart. You know what I mean? Just don't. Exactly what you were saying, you know, you're still gonna make money, man.
Absolutely. So that what you were just saying actually is I got this from car sales, just flipping cars, and I might as well end on this because this is a really important sales tactic and just sales psychology thing to take down and just to kind of keep this for life. When people get excited over making money or making a new purchase, it's called shiny car syndrome. Okay, has anybody out there? I'm sure you all have. If you have, type in the chat. Has anybody out there ever went and bought a car at a dealership or private party and they were so happy with what it looked like? Oh, it's black on black. It's a convertible. It's this, it's everything I wanted. And then when you wake up the next morning, you look at that same car and you're like, I didn't see that scratch there yesterday. You get in the interior, there's another scratch on the dash. Oh, I didn't see that scratch yesterday. It's called shiny car syndrome. When people get excited about making money or making a purchase, okay, those 2 things, excited about making money or making a purchase, when you get too anxious, too excited, you screw up. You miss certain things and you misjudge on what you should have actually done. You make the wrong decision. I even did it myself when I was younger. When I first started flipping cars, I think I flipped my first car when I was 17. I remember one day I paid for something, and then the next day I woke up and I'm like, geez, I didn't see that fender had a ding in it, and I didn't see that the bumper had a big scratch in it because I was so excited for my first flip and I got a decent deal on it. And that was actually one of the only flips that I think I broke even on it or something. And then there was one other flip that I lost money because I got too excited because it was a $500 car and it could have been $3,000, but it cost way too much to repair the car and I ended up losing money on it. So something to keep in mind, guys, really important. Just kind of wanted to end on that on tonight's group chat, but make sure you guys all stay safe. And, you know, I hope everybody has an awesome holiday season, Christmas, whatever you want to celebrate it. I really hope that everybody has an awesome holiday and just kind of, you know, enjoy your time with your family and be safe out there.
Hey, man, aside from all of that, bro, I just want to tell you, Luke, thank you, bro. Thank you for what you're doing for the community, and thank you for what you're doing for people, man, for real, honestly, because, you know, you can know something, but when you choose to do what you do, bro, that takes energy, that takes time, that takes effort. So really do thank you, bro, because at the end of the day, I want you to understand that you really are helping people, and you really are helping people, and not even that, bro, you're even, you know, changing people's lives in a way. You know what I mean? With your mentorship and and everything you do. You know what I mean? I just want to let you know, bro, keep going. You know what I mean? Because you're definitely doing something, brother. You're definitely doing something, man.
I appreciate that, Nelson.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Thanks. Well, awesome, guys. Thanks. I appreciate that. And I hope everybody has an awesome holiday season. And, hey, be watching for deals. Be watching for phones. They're going to be out there. So thanks, everybody. And I'll see you next Monday, 7 p.m. Central Time on the group chat. We will be here again. So thanks.